everyone. Welcome to an awesome broadcast day. It is Friday. I'm Richard Carlton here at fmtraining.tv, where every day, Monday through Friday, we're doing great FileMaker training. Sometimes it's you training me because, I'm not there very bright and I need tips on how to make the platform work. And sometimes we have people here that are training you. And so it's a great collective community. A lot of people who kick in, do their little bits to help things out. And we definitely take that seriously here. So let me bring up the upcoming broadcast schedule. If you go to fmtraining.tv, you can hit the live training button right here. Today is open Q&A day with me and Jacob Taylor. And so these are historically very popular live streams because a lot of people will ask open questions. Between me and Jacob Taylor, we can answer just about anything. And so that's pretty exciting. So next week, Nick Hunter. Next Thursday, Jason, JavaScript open Q&A. And then we're going to say so long to Leland Long. He'll be floating off into the distance, working on with his new startup company. He's a partner doing something. I don't know what he's doing, probably trying to invent AI and FileMaker or something. And he's going to be gone for a couple, 2-3 months, and then we'll have other people who will chip in and come up with stuff. Now, we do have Jesse Barnum coming up on the broadcast schedule with new updates on that. We'll also be doing updates on the Claris /FileMaker platform, whatever that looks like. We expect those to be coming up. Those will always be going on. We are broadcasting in high definition on YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, right? YouTube, Twitch, and Discord. So you're all welcome. That's awesome. So today's open Q&A. Once again, as a reminder, this is the upcoming broadcast schedule. If you want to support the channel, press the bundles button, purchase one of the bundles down here. Even if you don't need it, buy it for your dog or cat. That will help support the channel, and it'll make your fluffy animal much smarter along the way, right? So Mr. Taylor, here we go. So there you are there. I'm making you a little bigger. So let's talk about so Monday came along and I didn't get any emails or anything from Claris. And then out of the blue, what happened? It said, hey, your FileMaker is eligible to be updated, right? Is that what happened on Monday?
Yeah. I think they hit that button was Tuesday or Wednesday. So it was the day after they actually cut the release. But yeah, basically. Yeah. FileMaker Pro popped up and said, yo, there's a little patch. You want to install it? Go for it.
And so it's Mac and Windows on Pro, probably Go, and also server too, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, cool.
So basically, yeah, it's what we had told people previously. We were kind of waiting on. You all who've been here before, we usually tell people, hold off on the very first whatever new release, new thing that came out. Wait until patch 2. Well, it's Friday. Hi, everybody. Patch 2's out. So that was this week. The official version number is 20.1.2. The upgrade is from 20.1.1, or if you're on 19 still, great, fine. But that's what just got released is this one. So there's a few fixes. As always, they tried to shove maybe too many things, or were a little over ambitious with the initial 20 release that came out. And so we have our first round of little fixes and things. Pro is actually the Pro changes are not super interesting unless it's something you were bitten by. There's some stuff around transactions, and there was some weird situations where the close window thing wouldn't work and stuff like that. Some of that stuff's noted here. The big one that takes up like way too much space is basically they translated the script steps to French wrong, I guess, or slightly incorrectly. And I don't know if French people got mad and yelled at them or what, but
I'm sure. Absolutely.
But
Guaranteed.
It's been updated. That's the short version. So this probably doesn't require any change to code or anything like that, because I think everything in FileMaker actually uses the internal ID for that thing. So it's just a visual change, but I'm sure French people will be happy with that.
What else we got? What else is there?
We now have a slightly less buggy get modified fields function. It includes all the field repetitions if you had a repeating field.
For the 12 people using repeating fields.
For the 12 people using repeating fields, yep. And then again, more issues ironed out of the on-window transaction, which is that new global script per window, but global script trigger.
Yeah, but it's global. It's global to the whole file, right? So I have not used that yet, just because I'm kind of.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. It's in the place where everything else is like it's a global trigger, but everything else is like per layout or per whatever. Or if it's file level, it's everything. It's like on open. And
That
this
makes
one's
sense.
weirder.
This one should be on a layout, but it's actually attached to the whole file, which is kind of,
Yeah,
I don't know what happened with that. So yeah,
yeah,
so what else
it's
we got?
weird. And so that those are the bug fixes in Pro, at least the ones that they want to call out. I think there's about
What about server?
4 or 5 that are here.
Yeah.
There was another, the actual list is longer. Server, let's see, Go doesn't show anything. I'm showing Go to show you guys that Go doesn't show anything. So server has a solid chunk actually of addressed issues. So one of the problems that probably actually nobody ran into, but definitely was there, is when you enable the restrict access on the admin console, it would completely lock you out of the admin API in a way that it should not have. Yeah.
Okay, back
Summary.
up. So that is the uh restricted, like you're like whitelisting the people who can come into the admin API. Is that what that is?
Yeah. So the way it was discovered was that way. So the restrict access feature lets you either add people as like an allow list, or usually that's how you do it. Basically, I think you can block individual IPs or something like that too. But basically, you say which IP is allowed to access the admin console. But that allow list applies to the admin API as well, which can make that awesome or terrible for about the same reason. Because if you want like offsite access to the admin API because you have a configuration utility or something that checks data from the server or something like that has to be on the list also, which can be kind of annoying. But in any case, the basic issue here was that you could lock yourself out of the admin console. And so because you're always supposed to be able to get to it locally, and you could actually lock yourself out on accident. So
all right.
silly, but
There we
whatever.
go. Summary fields displayed as empty when, that's not
Yep.
good.
Yep. Yeah. Supplemental summary fields on an ESS table would be blank when they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, this is what that one right there could be a serious showstopper for someone if you were doing, like in a ESS integration with like a SQL source or something. It probably popped up because of Claris Studio somehow, but because that uses essentially the same technology. But yeah, that's why you want to check your stuff, because not having fields show up at all or missing data totals at reports, that's no bueno. Let's see. FileMaker script changes were not immediately available in the data until the. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's a big one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So big, annoying. Kind of interested in how they figured out that was the problem, but in any case, that's a good one. The administrator roles, which were finally brought back to FileMaker Server from 16, was the last time we saw those.
Yeah.
Are back with bugs, now fixed bugs, but back with bugs. Now resolved, and then WebDirect, some issues with commits. I think we mentioned it in a previous stream at some point, but just to reiterate, they have either refurbished or functionally rewritten. I don't know how extensive it is. The WebDirect list view implementation specifically. That was kind of a long project, but I think the end game of it finally shipped in 2023 here. And so there's been some bugs, just some bugs associated with that. One of which is this, which is you'd be on list view and you'd scroll off screen or something like that. And if you'd been clicked into one of those records, it's supposed to have committed because it's off screen, and that would be what it would do in FileMaker, and it was not doing that correctly. So that has been fixed. The big one, and the one that I'm very excited about, is this one right here, which is one of the memory leaks in the web presentation engine, web publishing engine, has been resolved.
Yeah, we've had customers who had to restart their FileMaker servers, every day or 24?
Still do. Every day or every 2 days, depending on the day. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's
That's
it's
bad.
theirs is almost primarily web direct access. They're using it for public access, so they get the shortest end of that stick, frankly. For most of our clients, it's annoying, but not that bad. But most of them are not trying to use web direct for public access. Claris kind of got on the horn with 2023 demonstrating using WebDirect for public access, actually, which is an interesting change.
I missed that. Did they actually officially talk about that or endorse that?
They were, I don't know if I would call it endorsement. It was in that presentation, one of the presentations that I watched with them. They were using it for that. And I went, oh, and that again, not a noted change from them, but explains why WebDirect is now certified up to 1,000. Why they worked out how to get all the workers, all that stuff ironed out.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, for those of you wondering, so I've had some very interesting conversations directly, one-on-one, directly with senior management at Claris, and one of the things I hit on them was that when they come up with a product or product line or a platform where they say no to people, I said this to the senior people there, the most senior people there, you can figure out what that looks like. And I said, when you have to tell people no, like, no, here's a product, no, you can't do public access, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, you're encouraging people to bail on the platform, is what I said, those exact words. I said, and so saying no, there's times when you want to say no because what someone's asking you is a really bad idea, right? Jacob did it to me the other day. I said, I want to do some stuff. And he said, no, boss, it's bad because that'll cause a security problem in the company. I'm like, okay, got it. But so I'm okay with no, but no, when you're trying to your customers, when they're trying to take a product and extend it, is bad, just bad business. And so I think they figured that out. And so they're trying to figure out how to say yes more often, and that will help everyone in the community. So public access, if they actually, I have to ask them about that. I'll email them today about that.
all right. Yeah, I would be interested if they are willing to change their public position on it, because we have always talked to people about WebDirect as people staff maybe, right? But internal or a list
contracts. It has to be someone. The rule of thumb is that it has to be someone you can identify by name, right? So if they come and audit you and you have 100 seats of gee whiz whatever, you have to be able to give them 100 names or something like that. Even if it's concurrent, you're supposed to know who those people are, right? So you have 100 people might connect to it, but you buy 30 concurrent licenses, but you should still know who those 100 people are, not publicly. So if they've gone public on that and announced that officially, then somehow I missed that. So I will.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was not a public verbiage change. It was them showing it in their. It was when they were talking about the 1,000 connections. It was during our interviews or something. It was a side comment that I caught from one of them, one of the WebDirect memory leaks.
Okay, so Stu asked a question here. Stu says, you said, quote, one of the memory leaks, quote, is this significantly improved, the memory leak issue, or I'm going to rephrase this. Is WebDirect significantly improved in terms of stability, or should we still be wary of public access to WebDirect?
I don't think that we're comfortable on the first pass to just say, yes, use it for public access. What I think is that the people who are already using it for public access will have a better experience. Is how I would put that.
That was really well done. Yeah, I think that they are trying. My guess, they're trying to make it more reliable, more better. And if they spend the money on it as necessary, they could probably get it to a point where it's pretty reliable. Once again, with WebDirect, I would always caution you, and Nick will tell you this, the same thing. If you have something that takes so much processing and complexity in Pro, it will work generally less well in Go in terms of speed and performance, and it'll work way, way, way less good and speedy on WebDirect, right? So as a general rule, WebDirect doesn't, you'll have the 5 people who will find the outlying cases like, well, WebDirect will sort 1 million records faster than Pro. Okay, maybe, right? But the reality is that is an outlier, non-reflective performance. It's just someone cherry picked that, right? So
yeah, and often the actual reason for something like that is like to use the bad example you gave, it's like, well, if you have to do something with 1 million records, if those 1 million records never have to leave the server, obviously that's going to be faster. And so
Yeah.
it in that case, it actually has nothing to do with WebDirect. That's not what's faster. You have eliminated the network communications involved with that sort. That's what you've sped up. It's got nothing, WebDirect may be 10 times slower actually, but you don't know that because you're not going to pro, which means you're just not, it's all the network comms are gone. If you magically could have all those records in your pro and then do a side-by-side speed comparison with that in WebDirect, pro may be faster. We don't know. But that's like, you have to be careful with judging the speed on stuff like that because you can accidentally measure something you're not intending to.
Yep. So the issue is that WebDirect is getting better. Would we recommend it for public access? RCC is not using it for public access yet, so
yeah.
I am not comfortable doing that myself.
Sorry.
It's fun. I just said I'm not comfortable doing that.
So. Yeah, mostly I'm excited because 19.6 very politely has memory leak problems and WPE. They're not good, and so this will help with that. There's a couple that go into this. We mentioned it at release. It's a new version of Java. That new version of Java allows Claris additional tools and techniques for memory management. In general, that's probably a good thing. Just all other things equal. The other part is we have a new script. And I'll get back to this particular bug that got fixed, but we also have a new scheduled script on the server side that is there's a button for it too, but you probably schedule it and walk away. That'd be a better idea. There's a scheduled script on the server now that will let you force the RAM cleanup for Web Presentation Engine WebDirect. And so that is kind of the other half. Even if they never fix all the memory leaks or something like that, you can kind of force the conversation by forcibly cleaning up the RAM cache on some schedule, hourly, whatever makes sense. But yeah. And then so I think this particular one, it's not in this detail, but basically they tried to do this, which is to kill all the memory leaks in WPE for 20. Again, noting that 19.6, I have observed 19.6 to have significant memory leaks in Web Publishing Engine. And so they tried to fix that for 20, which is fantastic. And they missed a thing, and that thing just continuously. It's not that it gathers more RAM. It's that it's back to the conversation, public access. So it's like the some amount of the chunk of data about the individual user session. That's what doesn't get cleaned up, that this specific bug fix resolves.
Yep. All right. So moving along on that stuff. Yep. So we have button bars and hovering, things like that. We got communication problems, invalid
list view, weird proxy problem, basically between I think it's the web server and WebDirect not relaying the data correctly or something like that. But anyway, it's fixed. Okay. If you ever saw the invalid JSON type problems or awful weird things on your browser console.
So, question from Hot Air Balloon Ken. So, what's today's thinking on server version ready for prime time? I saw the bug fix for web publishing.
2 answers. David Angel asked about a web publishing bug that we addressed already. The second one is there thinking on whether the server version is ready for prime time? And I said, basically, unless somebody finds a showstopper, we'll call it early ready. So if you would like to adopt it, I don't know, go yell at Claris if you run into a bug, but it's probably fine. I've done
2 or 3?
3. Technically, before this stream, we did a deployment, although I didn't know hands-on on my part, but I was coaching somebody else through a deployment of 2023. But it went fine.
Okay.
We did an in-place upgrade before go live, which surprised the client that was possible, and that worked. And we rebooted it and took the server live, and he's on it now.
It's always good when it doesn't catch fire and explode in front of the customer. If you have questions about this, so in terms of RCC and SU, That's what I was going to say. Before you use Server 2023, which is the marketing term for it, and I've asked Claris, I said this in the meeting with them once again, to please synchronize your marketing version with the technical version. The technical version is 20, but if we call it, if you drive a ugly yellow Volkswagen Beetle car from 1968 and you call it the Millennium Falcon, you're going to confuse people. Okay. And that's kind of what Claris is doing here. They have one version name for marketing, one version name for the technical engineering part. The version of 2023, you have to have at least client 19.4, right? Jacob Taylor? And
Yes.
which means that if you have a computer that can't run at least 19.4 client, you're going to potentially paint yourself into a corner, right? So you're on the floor, you're painting the walls or painting something, and you have no way of getting out of the room without stepping on the paint. You've basically painted yourself into a bad spot. So just as on the upside on the front end, be aware that 19.4 is the minimum client. And so if you have people who can't run that, then you're going to start having this mandatory forced upgrade of their hardware. Okay. Or
Yeah, I think that's like Catalina and newer on Mac, and then it's like our new 18 basically. Like we keep having to have these like little compat versions. So you could have Pro, you could have like a Pro 19.4 would let you keep actually not old, really old at this point, but your older computers.
yeah.
So
That's another one. So I got a note from Pause on Air. For those of you who want to know about Pause on Air, if you go to Pause on Air, they decided to not pause, PAWS, but Pause on Air. Watch it to go to some like questionable site. Pause with us. So it is, here it is here. So they've got a number of hotel rooms left available here if you want to sign up for this. It's about $1,000, $1,100 a head for 3 days, and that's food and board and I guess tuition if you want to call it that, but they would never use those words. But it's all encompassing minus your travel and any snacks that you bring there. So but they have a lot less people signing up for it because Claris decided to announce that they are doing DevCon in February, which I was reminded by the people who live in Texas is like, it's good that it's not 110 degrees, but it's bad that there could be an ice storm with no power because that frequently happens. But there's been no new news on it, no pricing. I have no concept of what's going to happen with that. I don't know what they're doing. I have no clue. And so I'm assuming they will notify us. Now, there is news about the new FileMaker certification. You can get Claris Connect certified. Okay. You could do that. You have to go to the Claris Academy. There it is, Claris Academy. So if you want to be Claris certified with Connect, have you done this? I think Calvin did it.
I have not done it. I'm going to
watch this video. I don't think there's a test. If there's a test, it's what's your name and how old are you and how tall are you? And do you have too high of a blood sugar count, you have diabetes? I don't know. They ask a couple questions. All right, David Angel, anything else? Claris Connect as a free tier. Any chance we will see a live stream on in the future? I will be working on a Claris Connect demonstration for me to learn it, and everything I learn I will bring back to you, probably schedule about 2 weeks out. I'll bring Calvin with me. He's babysitting me. Calvin, for those of you who've seen him on the show before, very talented individual. He helped Jacob do a Claris Connect demo during during when they rolled it out. So yeah, we will be seeing that. I think my biggest concern with Claris Connect is that Apple has issues with the connectors that go into it, which means that the development community has to be able to build the connectors, which means that the development community has to put them in a repository so we can get to them. And none of that, to my knowledge, exists. Maybe someone's cooking it up. Someone will create a free website or, Proofgeist or Geistproof or Soliant or DB Services or someone will do something as a community effort. But I don't think that since Apple limits what Claris can do, that Apple will allow that to be published on their website, if that makes sense.
No. So. Yeah, I think unfortunately they probably won't end up with like a cool marketplace or like whatever thing you might, even just mega repo thing that the partners can shove stuff into. That would be
Yeah,
that'll
like
be
a
neat as well.
GitHub for Claris Connect kind of things, right?
Yeah. Someone might set up a GitHub for it or whatever, but like
David
it'll be
Angel
one of the
says,
partners.
David Angel says, we want to learn how to use OAuth, Google, Microsoft Thingy, and FileMaker. But we did Azure already with it, right? But is this different than that, or is this the same thing as what he's saying?
No, he just maybe wasn't there for our launch stream.
Oh,
They
you're talking
went
about
for
the
email.
email. You're talking about the
Yeah,
email?
that's
Oh,
what we did. We did
oh
that during
yeah.
launch.
Oh yeah. So David wants to know how to use the OAuth, Google, Microsoft thing and FileMaker. We can't make it work. Jacob Taylor, the guy over here on the screen, who's one of the smartest people I know generally, uh, told me he has no idea. And after
Yeah.
spending 3 days trying to make it work, the F word came out of his mouth about 12 times, and he wasn't going to do it anymore. So,
Yeah. I need to try it again with the 0.2 that just came out, but I haven't gotten to it yet. It's a short version. So just in case they made some improvements. But the actual thing I'm waiting on from them is the blog post that must accompany that feature for how to set your account up and stuff. Because we need specific guidance from Claris on what they're expecting. Yeah, and I'm excited once we get this thing figured out. It's just, again, don't use it on launch day. That's same
I would think
conversation.
sending email would be something they could do without a lot of dramatic negative fanfare, negative press. But that's how bad sending emails gotten lately. I've been wrestling with it. We should maybe do a video on skip the Claris one and do a video. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do a video on SendGrid and SPF, which is your sun ozone protection kind of, so you don't get sunburns. So it's called
sunburn protection for email. Yep.
So SendGrid apparently is now part of Twilio. I am rolling this out for the BVA people. We're going to bring this to you. So every time I learn something, do something new and different, we're going to bring it to you. Some of you want things that we haven't done. Someone was saying, hey, I'd really like you to demonstrate Todd Geis's auto product. I'm like, well, the second that I actually use it, I'll be happy to tell you about it. All right, cool. SendGrid is for email marketing like MailChimp. SendGrid is it's not for them to manage the email. So we go back to SendGrid, which is right here. This is basically like an SMTP service so you craft the email that you want in FileMaker or any platform. In FileMaker, I'd use either the built-in send mail command. I'd use 360works email. Some of you would use the base elements plugin for that, maybe the monkey bread send email command, whatever. But remember, your client has to go out to a server, authenticate to the server, and go through all this pain and agony. And then that server that sends out the mail has to be whitelisted and approved and be shown to be trustworthy. Like if I really wanted you to convince you folks that I was trustworthy, I'd put a shirt and a tie on and I'd be all beautiful and dapper. I wouldn't let Jacob on here without a haircut. He looks like a sales weasel trying to sell me some. That's what you have to do to send emails out because of all the email bad people out there doing bad. So they make you jump through all these hoops. Is your server authenticated? Is it on a whitelist? Is it approved? Have you blessed it with holy water from the Pope? All this has to happen. I'm being serious. That's also why Claris tried to build this in their new OAuth function in their send mail, and they're having problems because this is hard to do and you have to really focus on the problem. So you can pay these guys to basically, I'm playing with their free tier right now, which is like 100. It's like 100 emails
like
a day
a
or
month.
something.
Oh, 100 a day.
Is it 100 a day? Yeah, a day. And so
nice.
I have a couple customers like the Big Valley Aviation. They won't send more than 10 a day. So we're going to park them on here and play with this. I'm going to bring you this information, show this to you. But it's not just paying them and filling out the paperwork. You have to do the special holy water from the Catholic Church, from the Pope. Sprinkle the holy water on this send grid thing, and then it is officially blessed to send mails from you out of FileMaker, and it doesn't go into spam. Initially, we set it up, and it promptly every email service that received the mail from SendGrid, that's spam, that's bad, and it would file it away and throw it away and bury it in spam. And you're like, God, I swore I sent this email. It's buried in the spam. So, right, Mr. Taylor?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think we're going to do a stream on how to resolve that particular problem too.
Yep,
among
we're
other
gonna do
things.
we're gonna do SendGrid with that issue, so that'll be good. If you want to just jump ahead, just know that you have to jury rig the SPF or SFP. Is it SPF?
SPF. SPF.
SPF.
Yeah. On
Um,
screen.
and then you have to jury rig the SPF, and then put it into your DNS record with your registrar who's managing your domain name. And
For the email that you're sending out.
Yeah, and so that means that's the holy water you have to bless so people realize it's authorized. So anyway, but yeah, it should be fun. And then yeah, otherwise we when we send out the campaigns, we send out all these emails. We're still using Mandrill, which was kind of the same kind of service from the MailChimp people. Then the Mandrill thing, they quit selling it as a separate service. They want people just to use their entire platform as sending email campaigns out, except that I programmed and Jacob has followed up programming our FileMaker system to generate the email campaigns for you based upon what you've done or what you will do or what you need to renew. Some of you get the bundle, you're going to expire, so it reminds you to do that. It's all part of that process. So I can do things in FileMaker we can't do any other way. But FileMaker still has to send the email out, and then whoever's sending that email out on your behalf has to be appropriately blessed, so it's accepted by the internet. William Wood, I know this isn't on topic, but I have been having a crash in FileMaker when saving a set of records for PDF. I've tried on multiple sets of records. The problem is intermittent, but I have to export it in short sets. I'm still on FileMaker server 19.6, and I tried a couple different computers to create a new account. William Wood says 19.3 Claris Pro. Okay. So real quick, William Wood, if you could send us what you're doing to support at rcconsulting.com, that may be fixed in the new version of FileMaker. There were some PDF shenanigans that were fixed in the new version.
Yeah.
And he didn't say whether it's on Mac or Windows, but
he should try it in 2023.
Yeah, but he's got server 19.6, so yeah, you could run Pro 2023 on server 19.6. Try that.
Yep. Yes.
Definitely try it.
There's a slew of fixes. Didn't cover it because we're kind of the 0.2 stream, but 0.1, one of the nameplate features of 2023 was a bunch of work around generating, saving, appending PDFs, all that stuff, specifically on Windows. On Windows. Yeah, so if you're on Windows and that's where you're having the problem, seek that out and try it, because it may just work now. We, RCC, had ops problems previous to 2023 that's what it was. Our particular issue is that the save records as PDF would hang Pro. It would just sit there forever and do nothing. Or it would, I don't know, maybe it started what it was doing, but it would not finish it. But there was a group of things that where it would crash Pro. That wasn't the issue we had, et cetera, et cetera. So just basically check it, try it. That may resolve it for you. If it doesn't, then have a bigger conversation.
Let us know. Yeah, would be interesting to know. All right, you guys have a good weekend. Our hour is up, but you can see we have a lot of exciting stuff coming. If you have other questions, Alex, there's an Alex out there. Thank you, Alex, if you're watching, for sending us all the great ideas for live streams. All right, Mr. Taylor, anything else on your end?
Try 2023 and tell me if it breaks.
Try it out. Yeah, I'm using it at the client level. We are not using it on our server yet, but probably within the next couple months, Jacob will find an excuse after you come back from vacation, Jacob.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna jack the development servers up at some point here. I just need to make sure we don't have anybody straggling on an old version. We're all I have an old Mac Pro that I sometimes use FileMaker on, and it uses FileMaker 18 client, which still works. Bad boss. It's a very old CEO with a very old computer. And 18 works great to this day. Yeah.
A Mac Pro with 20 Xeon cores is still fast. I don't want to get rid of it. That's it. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. See ya.
individual up here who maybe a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired.
Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir.